Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning, the start of a brand new week, and uh, welcome to Pinky Moss Cakes, Cookies, and Candy. Just talked to Mary, and she's going to be working around the house today, and it's going to be a very hot day here. Some of you in the Northeast are getting some very warm weather too, and I'm going to stand in front of this to make sure when somebody comes on that y'all can hear me. I'm trying this microphone again. I do have it charged. Hopefully it won't go off on me today like it did the other day. So, upcoming to July the 4th weekend. And so I'm got lots of things that I'm working on this week and a lot of things that I'm working on today. Hi, Judy. Can you tell me if you can hear me? Someone that's just got on, would y'all let me know if there's sound? Because I don't want to go any further till I make sure that y'all can hear me. Hey, everybody. Y'all remember last week I made the strawberry pie, and I'm using that crust today for my peach cobbler. And I make my peach cobblers a little different than most people do. I like a crunchy crust instead of the doughy, and they made the doughy the kind that's, you know, kind of like dumplings or whatever back in the day. Yes, thank you very much, Judy. Okay, but I like the crunchy kind, and so what I do is I make pie crust, and then I roll it out into strips, and then I cook it in the oven, and then I alternate the filling with the crust. So I've got everything set up here, and I've got my crust out at room temperature, but we're going to start the peaches first over here. And I have got, I didn't have enough fresh peaches, so I bought a 16-ounce bag of Kroger's Private Select peach slices. I don't normally like to buy frozen peaches, but these look pretty good. And I've just got them in I thawed them out. Now, you don't have to thaw them out, but they look like pretty nice peaches. Peaches have a lot of water in them, but I did add about probably a half a cup, but you can see that there's already a bunch of water that's cooked out of these. And I'm going to that. This was about 3.5 cups of peaches. It's probably supposed to be a 4-cup bag, but I don't think it was quite 4 cups. And this is peaches that I peeled that I got at Lisa's at the farmer's market in Marshall. And these were 5 peaches, and I peeled and I froze them because I didn't want them to stay out the whole week. And I added probably about a half a cup of sugar to these. And I'm going to add, well, I'm not going to add these in first. These will get soft really quick, so I'm going to add them after this gets to boiling. I wanted to say happy birthday to Chuck, and I put that on the description because I was so afraid that I would forget. But Chuck is 55 today. Remember very well the night he was born, or day he was born. I guess Mary could tell you more about the time, but I actually wasn't there. I had been there at her house, and I went to get something. I have no idea what it was, but anyway, I rocked him a many a night in his first few days alive because Mary was so exhausted. And of course she had Carla. Carla was 3 and almost 3. Carla's birthday is August 28th, and he was born the 29th. So she was about a month from being 3 years old. So she had a toddler. And so Chuck's a good guy, and we love him. And so happy birthday to Chuck. I have no idea if he's watching this or not, but I'm sure Mary will tell him. I think Mary's going to take him out to eat today, is what she told me. So, and thank you everyone for the birthday wishes for him. Okay, we've got bringing this to a boil. Peaches are very delicate, so I don't want to boil these very long, probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. Oh goodness, I don't want to have no internet trouble today. Yeah, Mary's on there. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this, probably about I don't know, not quite a half a teaspoon. I don't see my fourth a teaspoon. Salt just gives a little bit of, kind of enhances the flavor. Most people know that, but to fresh fruit or any kind of fruit. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to that. I got that boiling good. I've got my oven on because I want it to be hot. After I get this done, I'm going to move over there and we're going to roll the crust out. I'm going to roll the crust out. And I'll go ahead and put these in there. I didn't let them cook quite as long as I said I would, but you want to get all of that juice. If you're using fresh peaches, or if some of you canned peaches, you can add your canned peaches, or if you have fresh ones, you can add those in there. And I do not like canning. I had so much of that when I was a kid. It is terribly hot, hard work. And y'all have heard me say before, it was my job to wash the jars. I've got a small hand, and my hand will still fit inside of a fruit jar. And I have washed many hundreds of jars before, standing in a hot kitchen with the stove on and Mama canning, and I'm not a fan of canning at all. My hat's off to anybody that cans, because it is hard work and it's hot work. And I don't like it. I'd rather put something in the freezer. Of course, back then, you know, we did have a freezer, but not when I was young. I was probably a pretty big girl at the time we got a freezer. Now, you can see that that is not a whole lot of peaches. And y'all know what I'm going to do. I have 1 can of sliced peaches, and I'm going to add them because I want to make sure that I've got enough peaches. Now, I'm making one for some friends of mine, and then I'm making one for us. I'm trying to see, and this is going to be the one I'm making for my friends, and then I'm just making a small one for us. And I usually overthink myself, and I don't know, I just don't think that's going to be enough peaches. So I'm going to add this can to it. And I may have more than I need, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. And this is just a can of Del Monte sliced peaches in juice. So I'm going to go ahead and open these. Put these in there just to be on the safe side. And these look nice too. These are nice peaches. They smell good. Okay, I'm going to add these in there. Kind of sticky. I'll wash my hands. Now, y'all know I had planned to make that cake over the weekend, that strawberry layer, and I did not get it done. I just was not, yeah, that's going to be much better. So this boiler's not quite half full. I'm going to just cook these, just bring them up to a boil and cook them just a pinch. Sometimes you know, I do, have in my head that I'm going to do something, and hi Pammy from Mississippi, my good friend Pam. So many of y'all watching, thank you so much. I think I'm going to do something, and then my aches and pains rule it out. So I will get the cake made, all 3 layers, sometimes for the week's out. But I've got several things going today. So yesterday I prepped my chicken. I'm making a pot pie later on for some friends of mine. And so I prepped my chicken yesterday. I'm doing chicken kebabs for us. So I got that chicken prepped, had it soaking all night in ice water. And I've got my onions and my red and orange bell pepper cut up for this shish kebabs. I don't have any fresh pineapple, so I'm going to have to use canned pineapple. But that's going to be for supper here. And I really feel like that's probably all I'm going to get done today. So, yeah, the peaches that you get in a jar, they're good too. And they're, I've seen them several places. I don't know that I've ever bought them. But yeah, they are very good peaches. They are. Okay, let's see here now. I'm going to just kind of go by taste on this. I know it's going to need some sugar added, but I want a taste of it at first to just see how sour it is or how sweet it is. And then I'll kind of add a little sugar at a time. Yeah. It's it needs some help. It needs some sugar, that's for sure. I'm going to start with a cup, and y'all don't judge. You know, if I'm going to eat something sweet, I want it sweet. Whoops. Maybe not put quite all of it in it and get it stirred up. And then, now you want to give this time for that sugar to dissolve. And I wanted this to cool just a little, so that's why I wanted to make this first instead of rolling out the crust first. And actually it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but I still wanted to do this first. Let's see what I'm thinking. I'm going to put a couple more things in it too. I'm tasting better. You don't want it too sweet because then it's going to take away from the peaches, but I'm going to put the rest of this cup in there, and I'm going to put some cinnamon in it. And let's see, how much cinnamon do I want in it? Now, some people might put some more spices in it, allspice or nutmeg. I'm not. I'm just going to put cinnamon in mine. But if y'all like other spices, you can definitely put other in it. Well, I know I've got a thing of cinnamon that's open. I don't seem to see it. Maybe this is, no, that's cinnamon plus. I don't want that. That's pretty strong. There we go. Okay, I'm going to use a half a teaspoon just so I don't have to get another thing out. And I'm going to put some on the crust. So this may be all I put here. I could have mixed that cinnamon up with the sugar. It probably would have dissolved a little quicker, but you see these peaches are very, very soft. So I don't want to continue cooking these. I want to taste this one more time. And then I'm going to do a cornstarch slurry and do it thicken it. Now, I don't want it too thick because with a cobbler, I want a lot of juice in it. So, that tastes really good. I honestly don't think that needs any more sugar in it. So, this is probably maybe a cup and a half of sugar that I had all together, counting the peaches that, counting the sugar that I had in the peaches. Now, I've got a cup of water here, but I'm going to pour part of this out. I wasn't sure how much of it I would need. Or just pour part of it in here. And I'm going to add some cornstarch to this and make a slurry. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons. Now, when you're making a slurry and using cornstarch, you want to at least use room temperature water. You don't want to use hot water. Now, I know there are some people that do. I never have. I always use either room temperature or cold water to mix this up. I'm going to put just a little bit more in here. And then we're going to add a little bit of butter and vanilla to this. Anytime you're pouring cornstarch slurry in, you want to pour with one hand and stir with the other, and just kind of do it slowly. And always remember, it gets thicker the longer it sets. And I like a lot of juice in my peach cobbler, so we don't want this like a pie. We want it like where that juice can soak up in that good crust. let's see. I think that's about as much as I'm going to put in it. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla. If you have extract, that's great. If you don't, just use what you have. But the extract is always best. And I'm going to use about, get that stirred up. Use about probably, I don't know. Whoops. About that much, probably not quite a tablespoon of butter. And then we're just going to take this off of the burner and let it set. And then we're going to move over here. And I wrote down my measurements before I started, but like Mary's told y'all before, we always tweak the recipe after we cook it, because, you know, when you're used to making something and without measurements, and then all of a sudden you got to do measurements, sometimes it doesn't turn out quite as the way you want it, or so you either take away or add to. Now this has been in the refrigerator. This is my crust from the strawberry pie. I made double that day. I've got my board just slightly floured, and I want to roll this out. Not super thin, but I don't want it thick either. And I've got a roller in the drawer I've got to get out. I forgot to get that out. Now you can use a knife, a offset spatula, or a bench scraper to cut this if you don't have this little roller that I'm fixing to use. Let's see if I can find it under here. Okay, this is the one I want. This is a Wilton thing here. I think Walmart has these now. They didn't have them for a long time, but put just a little bit of flour on here. And I've got some melted butter. Now these don't have to be, you know, perfect. You know, you can do your own cutting, your own strips. But I've got this roller, so why not use it? Actually, these should be cut. It's not going to really matter if they break, because you just need some nice strips to go on top. So it's not going to matter if they break or not. So you don't have to fret too much about that. And I want a lot of crust on here. So I'm going to actually roll out both of these. And I've got, whoops, that one tore. I'm going to bump the oven up just a pinch. And I'm going to brush this with melted butter. Get my oven turned up. I don't want that sitting on that flour, because then it'll be in the oven. And I like to put cinnamon sugar on the top of my crust too. Just kind of give that a stir. Now butter burns, we know that, but I'm still going to butter this. If you'd rather do an egg wash than the butter, you can do that too, but I prefer butter. And I've got some regular cinnamon sugar that I'm going to use, but I've also got some oh, I don't know what it's called, decorative sugar, which is a little coarser grain than the fine sugar, granulated sugar. And I'm also going to use some of that. Bend it over is not good for my back. Okay. I put this aside here. I'm actually going to move this. That's just too hard for me to do. Now this is just cinnamon and sugar. I keep it in one of our little PC things, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on here. And again, this is optional. You may have people that are allergic to cinnamon. You don't have to. If you want to just sprinkle sugar on it, you can do that. If you don't want any of it on it, you don't have to put anything on it. It just, to me, it just makes it taste better. It gives it another level of flavor, and it makes it pretty. And I've got a piece of parchment under this baking sheet. And you can see this is, I don't even know where this come from. Probably one of the stores. It's just Decorative Sweets is the name of it. And I'm just going to put some of this on top. Okay, let's pop this in the oven, and I'm going to set the timer for about 10 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, because this cooks quicker than a normal pie crust. You bake it at 450 for 10 to 12 minutes, but because these are strips, they cook quicker, and they tend to brown. They cook quicker than a pie crust, because a pie crust is thicker and it's got more surface level to it. So, I set the timer for 8 minutes. Whoops. It's FedEx. Hold on just a second, y'all. Hi, do I need to sign for that?
Yes.
Okay. Go. Thank you. How's your day today?
It's just starting so far.
Stay cool. Do you need bottled water?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. I had to sign for these. This is a package that I ordered. I may show these to y'all another time. Don't always have to sign for it, but sometimes she's a new driver. Our other driver, I think they moved her to a different location. We had used her for, we'd had her for years, probably, I don't know how many years, but a long time. I actually have her cell phone in my phone. She gave me her cell phone number. But this girl is young. She's real nice, and she's out of Texarkana instead of out of the Longview or Tyler branch. Now, if you put this in the refrigerator, your dough, you're going to want to let it set out to room temperature, because it's real stiff, and you want to make sure that it doesn't come apart, because when you're working with stiff dough, it tends to tear, and you don't want that. And I don't want it super thick, but I don't want it paper shell thin either. It's almost, I think I told y'all the other day when I made this, it's almost like a cookie dough. It's different than a regular pie crust. And I found another pie crust recipe that I'm going to be trying. Maybe not right away, but maybe sometimes in the fall when you're making a lot of pies, and I want to see how it will work. Any baker or cook is always looking for new recipes or trying something that might be different than a normal your normal recipe. And Mary and I are just like that. We like to try different things that we haven't done before. And then sometimes, you know, just like I talked to many of y'all, sometimes you just go back to the tried and true. You know, what's worked for decades and generations, and you go back to them. But our great-grandmother, Grandma Hooker, and her daughters, they were pie people. And they made pies, especially in the fall. They had their own orchard, grew their own fruit, and of course, just pie crust and everything was homemade back then. There was no such a thing as going to the store and buying something bought. And you would go in their house, and they had a little tiny kitchen. I don't think it was probably even as big as our utility room. And every space that you could see in there was covered in homemade pies. And it was fascinating to me as a child. I just thought that was just the grandest thing in the world. And it wasn't that we didn't have sweets. We did. It was just fascinating to me because they had so much stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and get another sheet of parchment and go ahead and put this on there and get this ready and pop this in the oven too. I'm just going to throw those scraps away there. Now, if you use parchment paper, you can buy it by the rolls, and certainly that's okay too. I like the sheets because they're just so handy, and I keep different sizes of them. But you can always cut your own. Sam sells that roll that's package that's got quite a bit on it. In fact, I have probably 2 or 3 rolls down there on the tray. I guess I can spread these a little farther apart than I'm doing. Now, I'm just going to get this out of the way here. Whoops. Some more over here. I love this pastry mat because you can just fold it up. Now, my fair warning, it will come unrolled if you don't put some on top of it. But I do like it. Roll it up. All right, let's get some more butter on these. Now, my aim is not to make these peach cobblers pretty like a nice lattice. I don't do my peach cobblers like that. They're very rustic, and to me that just adds to the fact that they're homemade. So it doesn't bother me that these are not all the same size, or that they may have a little ruggedy edge on them. Or you can always put those on the bottom or in between when you're alternating your filling and your crust. So this was about probably a half a stick of butter that I used, maybe not quite a half a stick. Set that aside. I love to smell cinnamon cooking in the oven. It always smells so good. Okay, that should be good. Okay, I'm putting this in the oven. I'm just going to put it on the second rack. And now I've been cooking these for 8 minutes. These strips here. I'm going to check it and see. I think these might need just maybe another minute. I don't want them to be overcooked. So I'm going to do another minute on the timer. And then I'm going to get my filling over here. And I guess I'm going to need another baking sheet. Lots of baking sheets when you're cooking, when you're baking. Let's see. Yeah, both of those have fit on there. Let me get this over there. Now you can see that that's got quite a bit of juice in it. Don't fret about that at all, because it's just going to soak up that crust. And you may say, well, what's the use of, you know what, that is a little bit thinner. I may add just the rest of this cornstarch in here, because I think it needs just a little bit more. I don't want that to be too runny. The good thing about it, you can always add more if you need to. Now I'm going to take these out, let them sit there and cool just a minute, and I'm going to pop these on the top rack. Now I'm going to set the timer for 8 minutes. I thought that would have thickened up a little bit more than it did, so I'm just going to add this. Now, I know that you could use less water and not have to use as much cornstarch. I'm very well aware of that. And sometimes I will do the cornstarch a little thicker, and sometimes I won't. It just depends on, I guess it just depends on how I'm doing that morning. I put about another half a teaspoon in here, and you can see that it's already coming to a boil. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this. That one thing, that butter and the vanilla added a little bit more liquid to it. So now I'm not going to keep y'all until this comes out of the oven, but I'll post pics when I bring it out. And yeah, that's a good bit thicker there. I think this will be good here. And I'll put the recipe on there. Now, I'm not going to put the recipe for the crust, because the crust recipe is with the strawberry pie. So I'm not going to type that again. If you want the recipe for the crust, go to the pic with the strawberry pie, and the recipe is posted there. And y'all keep in mind that these recipes, these videos, are only online for 30 days. So if you want the recipes, you'll need to download it, or you'll want to do that. Hope I got enough room over here for everything that I want. All right, so to start off with, I'm going to put a little bit of juice in the bottom. I know it seems like I'm moving around a lot. That's one reason I like the mics, because if I walk off, you can still hear me. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of this juice in the bottom, just a little. It's hot. It smells really nice. Okay, and now I'm going to take some of the strips. That is really good pie crust. This was that pie crust recipe, if you remember, that I wasn't real sure how it would turn out because I'd never made one like it before, but it's very good. So I'm going to take the ends off of here and just put a layer. Ouch, that pan's hot. And again, you know, it doesn't matter if you use pieces or what you use, because this is not going to sit. This is going to be on the bottom. You can arrange this however you want to arrange it. You know, it's not no rhyme or reason. Just however you want to do it. I just want to make sure there's a good layer here. Now this is going to be hot, so I'm gonna. You just want to alternate between the peaches and the crust. And it doesn't have to be a thick layer at all. Now I'm going to do one on this little one too. Ouch. Woo, that is hot. Hot potato. Oh, I need to finish this one first since my other's not quite done. Go ahead and put another layer here. Okay, let's get this out of the way. We just got a couple more minutes to get this other done. Maybe 3 more minutes. And when you get, after this bakes, and you don't have to bake it long because it's already done, but you just want it to kind of marry together. And I'll put one more layer of peaches on here, and then a little bit of crust on top, so it'll be nice. And when you spoon it out to serve it, you'll have layers of crust and peaches, which is going to be really, really delicious. And then I'm probably going to sprinkle a little bit more sugar on top. Have y'all ever made a cobbler like this before? I'm sure some of you have. I started making my cobblers like this probably in the 80s, probably. And Mama had always made the kind where you mix the batter up and, you know, the batter rises to the top. And those are delicious. I really do love those. That's what my grandmother's always made. But I started making them like this, and I've made very few the other way over the years. I always make them with the crust because that's how I like them. So that's how I make them. Let's see if my other crust is almost done. This is going to need just a little bit more time. I'm going to add 2 more minutes to my timer. So I guess I can kind of recap this. This is about a total, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably around 7 cups of peaches. And I use frozen, fresh, and canned. So y'all, y'all may have enough frozen, enough fresh, or enough canned that you just use one kind. I just use what I had. And I probably put, counting the sugar that I put in the fresh peaches before I put them in the freezer, it's probably got about 1.5 cups of sugar in them. And so I added about 1/2 cup of water to that, let them start cooking, and I started the frozen ones first. If you're using frozen peaches, a mixture, start with your frozen ones and kind of bring them up to a little low boil, and then add your fresh peaches in last, because they are a lot more delicate and they're going to turn into mush if you add them and start boiling them from the beginning. A little dash of salt, and put the rest of your peaches in, whatever you're using. And I added about 1 cup of sugar, granulated sugar, and let that dissolve and cook. And then once that's come to a good boil, you don't have to cook them long, then you mix up like a little cornstarch slurry. And I used about, probably about 3/4 cup of water, and probably 3 good-sized tablespoons of cornstarch. Mix that together. Pour it with one hand and stir with the other, because if you pour it all in there at once, it could possibly clump up, and that's not gonna make it pretty. So pour and stir, pour and stir. And if you can't do it yourself, if you have trouble with your hands, a lot of people do have trouble with grip or movement with your hands or shoulders. Hopefully you got somebody that can help you either pour or stir, whichever you need to do. And then once that's sticking to the way you want it, then you're going to add about a good 1/2 tablespoon of butter and about 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and stir that in real good, and then just set it out to the side till you get ready, till your pie crust strips get done. All right, we got our pie crust strips done here. I'm going to turn my oven off so I don't forget that. And I'm going to set this here. Get my pie strip crust over here. Need my 9 minutes on 450. You don't want to overcook them, but you want to make sure they're done. And don't touch the pan, because if you do, you'll burn yourself. And I do that a lot. My hands tend to attract heat. I can't tell you how many times I burn myself when I'm cooking, and I used to never do that. Never. But it's something about your movement now, or my movement, that I don't always get it right. All right. I'm going to put some more in here. I'm just going to put these little pieces in there. Now, I'm not worrying about making a big one for us, because we'll just eat a serving each. So I probably could have even used a smaller container than that. I want to make sure that I get them a nice one, so they'll have plenty. Okay, I think this is a pretty nice one here. Oh, I turned the oven off. I didn't mean to turn it off, because I need to put this back in there. Oh, this hot potato. Let me turn my oven back on real quick. Now I'm just going to put it on 350 this time, and I'm not going to leave it in there long. because this is already done. I just want it to kind of, it's hot. It's really hot. I got this out. I guess I should be using it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put this on this baking sheet here, and then I'm gonna finish this one. Whoops, I spilled juice on my pot holder. When y'all are baking, do y'all ever think about somebody that used to really like something particular that you were cooking and wish that they had some, that they was there to share it with you? I do. I think about that often when I fix something that I know somebody would love. I wish they were here to share it with me. Okay, I've got a little bit of juice left in there, and I am going to use it, but I'm going to get this done first. This is actually just enough for these two cobblers, just enough, which is good because, you know, you don't want to have it left over, but you want to have enough to where you're not being skimpy on it. I've got just a little bit left in here, and I'm just going to kind of drizzle that on top just a bit. And I'll do the same thing with this one. Now this is going to have to be washed because that's yucky. Probably I'm going to leave this in the oven about maybe 7 or 8 minutes. Doesn't have to be in there long. I am totally making a mess here. I don't want to use that, that's for sure. Okay, we'll get this in the oven here, and I think that looks really good. And I'll set my timer for 7 minutes, and then I'll take it out. And then I'm gonna tidy up the kitchen and rest for just a bit before I start getting my chicken on to cook. And open my package. Okay, I'm going to set it on 7 minutes. I hope y'all enjoyed this little video, and thank you so much. Be sure to stay cool and hydrated. Count your blessings always, and always show kindness to people. You know, there's enough bad things happening in the world. If we can just share a little bit of kindness, each one of us, the world would be such a better place. You know, don't make it your mission to get the last word in or to give your unsolicited opinion. Just be nice and be kind, and that means so much to so many people. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all soon, taking pictures of this and posting the recipe. And again, happy birthday to Chuck. And I don't know when I'll be on to do the cake, but I am going to be on several times this week fixing that cake. So, Susie, for chef issue, if you will text me or Mary, if you bought it from either one of us, if you didn't, text me and I'll see if I can do something. Sometimes if we weren't the consultant, they might give us a little harder time, but I'll do my best to get it resolved for you. Either me or Mary won. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Be blessed and stay cool.